the three of you guys, man, thank you for what you guys do, and appreciate you guys having me on.
We were trying not to score and everything. We hit about 33s or something.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of felt that. We kind of feed off that energy.
This place is amazing. Like I really love Duke, and I love the atmosphere I'm in here.
Mark Williams, beast mode. Paolo first half, he had the cramping stuff. Fair enough. Beast mode.
Welcome back. We are back. We know a lot of you are coming here to to get your little tidbits of information and what happened this weekend and all that, but we appreciate you for tuning in, returning to the Crazy Cast. We are fresh off a great week, fun week that included, us hosting first annual Brothers Chats with Quinn Cook and Nolan Smith, Tyler Thornton, Josh Harrison. If you haven't checked it out yet, clips are dropping on our YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. There will be a lot more coming. If you're listening, go to our YouTube. We might try to drop an audio version of it too, but I think it's better on YouTube. And obviously, everyone was there because it was K Academy week. Russ was there in attendance for a few days. So we'll break that down. We'll talk scrimmages. We know people want to overreact to these scrimmages, but we'll talk all about that. But here with my guys, first time we were together last week.
Everybody. Yeah.
Real dope to see everyone in person. And thank you everyone who came out as well to support. It was a pretty good crowd for a last minute thing we did. But fellas, how we feeling?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. It's good to see you guys too, man.
No, it was good. I was like, oh man, it's really dope. Finally,
Yeah.
about time.
I know, right? We all in like different parts of the country, but it works. That was really dope to see. It was a really dope event. Shout out to Quinn, shout out to Nolan, man, for putting it together. Last minute, like we were talking a little bit off air, like the fact that it was so smooth and it was so put together, it was very well put together. Regardless of how long it took them to plan it, it was an amazing event, man. So shout out to the guys, yo.
Yeah, shout out to them, man.
I think it helped. By the way, my voice. This is as much of my voice as we're gonna get. My voice is very gone. I think that a big reason why the Quinn Nolan thing succeeded, other than us, was joking aside, man. Come on, we were honored to be there. we were honored to be a part of it. I think a big reason why it went so smoothly is having those guys be from the same era and from the same area, right? For them to all be DMV guys who went to school, within the same 5-6 year span. 5-year span, I think is really special and great. And I think it really facilitated the fact that, even though it came together at the last minute, they have such natural chemistry and such great stories about one another and with one another, and they were so willing to share that I thought that went beautifully. Maybe it would have been harder to come together, something like that, if it wasn't such a tight-knit group of guys who were talking to one another. But
that's a good point.
They just have such natural banter from a lifetime of knowing one another and playing with one another. So, I thought it was really cool. I was very, very pleased with how it all went.
Yeah, for sure. And, Russ was on there cracking jokes. It was a lot of fun jokes on there. A lot of good stories. Probably too much for me to find and cut, but I'll do my best to get it out for y'all. But it was really dope.
I saw you put up the championship debate.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah.
Although there was some points I didn't agree with there, but I talked
to Zubek about it. I brought it up.
You did. That's somebody. That's who we really need the opinion from.
What did he say?
Dudes, bro.
Zubek, of course, had the I think he gave sort of a bit of a political answer, but he also was like people forget, like he's like I do think that people underestimate how good he was on defense, and I thought that clip you posted, Zion, with of him really bullying Kennedy Meeks, like do I think that he could genuinely slow down the National Player of the Year? No, probably not. But I thought that Nolan's point that he could not, like, Ja just couldn't throw his shoulder into a guy as big as him to knock him down. That I do think is a good point, because even though that is not the entirety of Ja's game, Ja had great footwork, and again, Quinn's response, if you just go around him, I thought was also pretty good too.
It's true, yeah,
that is true.
But I do think he would have made Ja work for it more than maybe some of the guys, in the big marquee matchups that he had to play and showed out with, in that year. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting point, but Zubek did, at least he was kind of like agreed with Nolan, and I think Nolan or somebody else from that team walked up while I was talking to him, like it's like, yeah, people forget how good Zubek was those last couple of months, man. He was really, really good.
No, he was amazing. I've been thinking about it, honestly, bro, since then. The more I'm thinking about it, I think 2010 will win, because 2010 was just so good defensively. I don't think they get enough credit for how good they were defensively. I think offensively, I don't know. I think the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking about it, I think 2010 will probably win that game, bro.
I will say the matchups that Jaleel probably were best for were the times where big was interior, slow, and bigger. Comiskey was a guy that could pull him from the rim. Zubek's not doing that. Lance Thomas is not doing that either. Plumlee's aren't doing that. So those were the games that I was like, Ja is going to be unstoppable. And I think Justice and Kyle Sigler, although Kyle was a beast.
Kyle, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Kyle will give Justice work, man.
Kyle's a beast, give him work, I don't know. Justice match
2010, Kyle.
Kyle's actually was better his junior year.
He was. But
he was better his junior year.
He's one of those people that I think people gonna forget, and that's a shame, because he's a national champ. But I don't think a lot of people really remember how good Kyle Sigler was in his time.
He was the most outstanding player.
Like, yeah, he seems like one of those players that people just forget about. Like, I don't know. That's just the vibe I get surrounding Kyle Sigler. But it's an interesting discussion, man, because 2015 wasn't a slouch. Those are the best two Duke teams, championship wise, like talent wise.
It's also true. I think it's true of any player that did not play a bunch in the NBA. I think that people forget, frankly, how great Nolan was.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think that in general, if you weren't a guy who went on to play for many years in the NBA, that memory starts to trickle away, So I think it's natural for people to. I think when I spoke about it with some other people, I sort of maybe fell in like 2015. I sort of feel like maybe better in terms of like a season, but 2010, if it's like a single elimination, one game, winner take all, I do kind of think size and experience play a big role in that. I don't know, but 2015, the sheer talent level in 2015 is really hard to overlook, So I don't know.
Shout out to John Pence. He said, I think via his site, he said, sim the matchup 100 times on, that's not his site, mygamesim.com, and they literally split it 50-50.
Wow.
By an average score of Duke 2015, 71.2 to 70.3. So it's a toss-up. It's pretty much a toss-up.
Yeah.
But, it was a fun conversation. It was a great conversation. And that was only about 10 minutes of 2-hour conversation.
That's a small part of it. Yeah.
Like that was such a night filled with stories and perspectives from all the guys. and even the fans engaging after and asking questions, were great as well. So definitely, like I said, tap in with us. Stay tuned because we'll probably be dropping that content probably for the next couple weeks. Just to give y'all something to tune in with. It's the off season. Got nothing to talk about. But yeah, I guess we could jump to K Academy because that's what people are here for. First off, I think we'll have Russ break down like his experience there. But obviously the scrimmages, I think we'll have a lot of perspective. I asked a lot of people about the scrimmages. Russ was there for a day or two. I will preface this by saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These couple days do not matter. So just take it for the information that it is, but do not run with it and say somebody is going to start. Someone's
Oh no, good luck with that. People don't already ran with their own narrative.
I'm just prefacing it just so if they do it anyway, it's not our fault.
No, they're gonna do it anyway.
It's not our fault. But yeah, Russ, how was the K Academy experience this year?
I will say the one thing I said last year after the scrimmages that I saw that people kind of dismissed, they're like, it's not going to happen in the year, was when I saw in the scrimmages how much Slim was attacking, how much he was going to the rim. And I feel like I brought that up and there were some responses being like, hey, he's a shooter. Like come on. But he attacked the rim a lot last year, or certainly a lot more, it certainly, I think that is one of the cool things that scrimmages I do think can display is like what players are working on, and things of this nature. I did not get to see a scrimmage in person this go around. The scrimmaging was earlier than I got there, unfortunately.
Yeah, but before you get into the scrimmages, talk about like the experience overall.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, what is there to say? It's one of the best.
People you talk to.
It's Vegas for Duke fans, dude. It's the coolest thing. Everybody there. I mean, I was saying before this, everybody there is so nice. Everybody there, welcomes people with open arms and is happy to like sit and talk to you. Last year, my first year there, and my buddy Dan, shout out to Dan Lerman, my guy who invites me to be his +1 at this, because he knows what a big Duke fan I am and have been my whole life, and he knows, I've been very good friends with him for a very, very long time now, so he, I think, understands that I'd be a good companion at a thing like this. Those first couple of days, my first year there, you're surrounded by the people you grew up watching. Like it's intimidating. Like, even though they are just like people, I do think it's hard to like sit on the floor in Cameron Indoor Stadium and see everyone you grew up watching and go like, oh, I could just go up to them and start talking. It takes some time to get into it a little bit. And so this year, having done it before, I think, and I'm grateful, right? Because I only got 2 days there this year. So if I'd had to like get used to it and like find my sea legs a little bit, it would not have been as fun or as rewarding to be there for only 2 days, but it was great. And there has been, I know that nobody listening cares about this part, the basketball part of it, the playing that was there by the campers has never been better. It was unbelievable. The tournament on Saturday was an electric environment because the 16, 15, and 14 seeds all won. The 16 and 15 seeds went to the Final Four. People were jumping up and down. It was crazy, dude. Is that because how the competition was out because of torn ACLs and torn for one of the teams? I think the 2 seed lost one of their best players, and the 3 seed maybe they had somebody nicked up, but the 1 seed, 16 seed, the 16 seed, Dre Dawkins and Jay Gold's team, they had beaten nobody the entire week. They literally had 0 wins, and the number 1 seed only had 1 loss. They had the 3-time MVP, 4-time because he won it again this year, Josh McNulty, who's an unbelievable basketball player, and they were healthy. I mean, 16 seed just flat out won. I mean, like their best player hit some monster threes. Dre Dawkins got teed up with a few minutes left in it. Like
teed up at K Academy.
It was a crazy bad call, and Dre takes both hands. Where like the media sits in between the benches at on the court side. He takes both hands and slams them into that table as hard as he can, and the ref did not hesitate to tee him up at K Academy. And this was they were down like 5. They were the 16th seed. They were down like 5 with a couple minutes left. Dre gets teed up. You're like, oh well, it was a nice run. It was fun while it lasted, but it did kind of motivate the team, and their best player had a couple of huge threes. It was electric. Again, I know that nobody cares, but it is a lot of fun to watch basketball, and I think that goes to the greater experience, even beyond being a Duke fan. It's a bunch of guys who really care. Like the players and coaches also, like who are there, like the staff, they get into it. They really want to win. The competitive fire that's there, that I think also, Zion, at the Quinn Nolan thing, this is why the question that you asked was so clever, in terms of where you put it. Those guys can't turn that off. Like it helps bring out the banter, right? It helps the competitive fire doesn't die in guys like this. As Quinn said, you have to have a bit of a screw loose, to be a Duke, and those screws are all loose at K Academy. It's unbelievable, right? So it's just such a great experience, even outside of getting to interact with a bunch of players and coaches whose skill and knowledge of the game you really respect, and everybody who runs that event, from the top down, it's one of the coolest things any basketball fan could ever experience. I really hope to play one year. Maybe if I sell a giant script, that's what I was about to ask you. If I sell a huge script, well, one of my boys at K Academy now, his first year he was there just to watch his brother play, and because so many guys got hurt, they knew he could hoop a little bit, and they were like, "You want to come in?" Oh, wow. So I was just so every opportunity I had, I went out on the court and I put up some shots. I was like, just in case you need somebody, I don't know, I'm here.
I'm here. I can be
I'll stretch. Dude, thank God I didn't. I'm so out of shape right now. Thank God I didn't play. I would have blown out the ACL, the MCL, all the CLs. They would have snapped like twigs. It would have been unbelievable. But yeah, man, anybody who loves Duke basketball and has, and hits the lottery, like it's a good. It is kind of like I got into this with some people talking about it. It's like, what would you spend that money on? And now maybe there's some people there for whom the amount of money that you spend on K Academy is nothing, right? It's like pocket change. But for somebody like me, that would be a ton of money. And it's like, well, what do you spend a ton of money on in your life? And it's like, well, if I was going to spend that much money on like one thing,
it would be something like
probably
that.
Be that. Yeah. It'd probably be that. I don't know, man.
I told my wife the same thing. Like, for real, if I get it, I'm gonna pay it. I'm definitely gonna pay it.
By the time I'll be eligible, it'll be 25,000.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a lot of money, but I'm with you though. Like if you got it, like it's especially like if you are a huge Duke fan, like somebody like I've been a Duke fan since I was 7, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like that would be the opportunity. And I actually hoop and all of that stuff. Like you said, like I really want to play. Like I want to be MVP and all of that. Like so, but it is pretty expensive. I think they said it was like 15 this year or something like that. Like crazy.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like
15,000.
And like money goes to a good cause, right? Like it's, and I'm sure there's like, I don't know, man. I just sit here and think about if I thought I could spend it, and I'm not talking about like, spending it on something that like, like a house or like, like the things that people need to get by. It's like if you had money to spend that on that was for yourself, right? Like that was for pure entertainment and pleasure and like whatever else. It's like, I don't know, that would probably be it. That would probably be it. It's now that I've seen it firsthand 2 years in a row. It is really, really special.
Why did you
oh God, there. Duval County legends right there.
Why'd you
Duval County legends.
The fact that Grayson Allen got gray hair already is wild.
Yeah, I was about to say
that is so wild to me,
Russ
bro.
kind of look younger.
You definitely look younger than Grayson Element.
The Gray's contagious. He wasn't gray until I got in his general vicinity, and now
Shout
No.
out
That's
Grayson.
wild to see
Shout out
Grayson with
Grayson.
gray hair, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna post some pictures on Instagram too. I got some photos of some cool guys, and I mean, even more than, I mean, the photos are nice, but like really, it's just having the opportunity to chat with people, and the vast majority of those guys are very willing to chop it up with you.
That's pretty cool, man. That's really
Yeah,
that's
which is
really
again, you
cool.
can. There's in my experience, there's not much that's well, not much that's off limits to like a smart person asking reasonable questions, right? But like if you want to talk about anything basketball related, career related, like these guys will keep it real with you, like it's they want you to learn, they want you to have a good experience, right? They want to share their own experiences. So
is Coach K there the whole week, or is it just like he makes kind of like
not only is he there the whole week, he is sitting and watching every game. You want to talk about a guy who can't turn it off. He's watching, he's looking at like who's scoring, he's taking notes, right? He's locked in, he is laser focused. And then like during halftime in between games, he talks to like some of the players, and the kids come up and take their picture with them and stuff like this. But like when the game is on, he is locked in. It's like, he can't turn that off, man. Can't turn it off. It's wild to see.
pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope.
Nah, that's dope. Let's jump into the scrimmages. Let's jump into the scrimmages. I think
have y'all seen footage? I haven't seen anything.
No.
Footage there's no footage.
Yeah,
there's no footage.
Yeah, footage isn't coming out.
Okay.
I talked to Quinn. I'll say Quinn because Quinn was the first guy who told me, but I don't know if it was like a scrimmage in front of people. I think it was a workout. They were just like working out. Quinn played with
Yeah, I was gonna say generally what they do or what they did last year, and I think they did this year, is they sort of like curtain up around the sort of K Center court where they play. Now you can sort of like peek around, right?
Okay.
But they're not trying to like let people like be there with their phones or whatever, right? Like you can, like if you don't have anything else going on at that time, like, and you get lucky and you're there, you can watch. That's more or less what happened to me last year, right? So I believe that was more or less what it was, and they're trying out like different lineups, and there are some former players who will run with them because Zion, as I'm sure you probably have more detail than I do. Some of the guys weren't playing for this reason or that. So they want to make sure that there's enough bodies out there to really challenge, in a scrimmage. But
is it like a team thing, or is it just like we all hoopers, y'all? Let's run. Is it just like pick
I
up?
heard it was like pick up. It was like
it's in between. It's in between that, right? Like it's a little more like they're keeping track, right? And they're trying to like work on their things, but like at least last year, what I saw, they were definitely trying out like it seemed like they had some players who were trying to play with one another here or one another there. But it's definitely not a like organized come over here, we're doing this, right? Like it's some in between of that, right? So at least again, that's what it looks like from the outside. I don't know from the inside. Maybe there's more planning, or maybe there's less planning and it just looks more planned because these guys are so good. But
is everybody's here except for JBB, correct? As far as
everybody was there.
Maxi.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
Max is not here. Okay.
He's with the Canadian U18 team. Actually played today. I think he had like a double.
He had a bunch of assists, right? Did I see those?
I think it was steals.
Steals.
Yeah.
I thought I saw he had some dimes. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I think of the guys that didn't play, who was it? It was Pat, Caleb.
Pat definitely didn't play. I don't think Sebastian played.
Yeah, Sebastian.
Although Sebastian was not in a boot I know he was in a boot for like one of the videos that came out or whatever. There was some chatter about it, but when I saw him just hanging out, he wasn't scooting. He wasn't scooting around or anything, right? So
Duke could throw a boot on you, bro. They would throw a boot on anybody, boy.
It's probably just your classic sort of precautionary off-season stuff,
Yeah, I'm not worried because it's June. But who else? I think there was someone else that didn't play. Maybe that might be it. Okay, so let's go first with Quinn. The first, because I can say Quinn's name out loud. He don't care because he told me after our event. His number one. There's a common theme I feel like, and Russ will probably say it too. There's a common theme. It feels like that Deron Rippey, freak athlete, is out the gym, which we kind of knew already, but like that's something that everyone noted. But Quinn himself, he was like, "Yo, this dude is baby John Morant."
That's what I said.
He said this dude is baby John Morant, man. He's a freak athlete. I think he was.
I heard that from multiple other people, like coaches, staff. The name John Morant comes up, and maybe some of that is like I don't know how to feel about
some of that is probably the hair too. I'm not gonna lie.
But so then I when I got a chance, I got to talk to Rippey for a bit, and so I went up to him and I said, so I hear I hear the Jean Morant comparison, and he said that's what they say, which first of all, great first response. And I said, yeah, but what do you say? And he said people say I play like John Morant. I say I play like me.
I love it.
And I said I like that answer.
Love it.
I was like, that's a good swagger point guard answer right there. That's what you like to hear from the man, So
you gotta get a funk flex bomb for that runner there. Yeah, man. New York City
and Davion Mitchell, bro. Like I've been
New York City in the building.
Are there.
But yeah, so I mean that feels like a theme. I heard he had a putback dunk too, in one of the scrimmages, and then who else? Quinn was very high on Cam Williams, actually, very high on Cam Williams. He said he likes what he brings to the table as a big man. He thinks he could do it all. Obviously his pickup though, so like he's gonna have the liberty.
Cam
to
probably
do it all
phenomenal in pickup. He probably wanted to do just unstoppable.
Same for Rippey too, obviously, right? Like Rippey was born to look dominant in pickup. Like there's no question the guy destroys at pickup.
Yeah.
He said Caden. I had mixed reports on like Caden in the scrimmage. I don't know what people saw, but Quinn was very high on Caden. He was like, yeah, Caden's gonna be a dog year too. He said Bryson could really shoot it. He saw that. I'm trying to think who else. Dame, I don't think he said anything about Dame. No, he didn't say anything about Dame. I had another report from someone else said that Dame looks like he took the next step. But again, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah,
100 grains of salt. That's all we had to hear was Dame took a step.
Who are we missing? I feel like we're missing somebody.
JB.
Yeah, you said Caleb didn't play. Did
Sharnowski play? I don't know if Sharnowski played. Maybe he did. I don't know. I didn't get any report on Sharnowski. Okay. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But like, JB, and yeah, he said JB was shooting the lights out. So I mean, it was all positive reports. I don't think he was going to say negative, but he was really excited about the team, at least from Quinn's perspective. Yeah, go ahead, Russ. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was much that was a revelation. I think that a lot of the things that I heard were expected. I do think that the biggest thing that I heard from everybody that I spoke to was Rippey praise. I do think that for a season where people sort of expect, Caden, Caleb, JB, I mean, like the backcourt is stacked already, right?
Mm-hmm.
For everybody who saw the scrimmages to be like, Rippey is like, you can't not play him. And so, so I had to ask a couple people. I was like, what's this rotation look like? And what depth are we talking here? What's like, what does everyone kind of think that everyone can play? And if so, then what is it going to be? And most people were kind of I asked Shire about that, and I mean, obviously,
I know Shire played it off. I know.
Well, everybody also at this point, because it's so early on, like,
yeah,
the answer is they don't know, right? And also, good problem to have, right?
Excellent problem to have.
I don't think they're opposed to the idea of playing really deep this year. I know that's like everyone listening, and I brought this up too when I was talking to everybody. I was like, I even said it to Shire too. I was like, every year, everyone goes like, oh, this team, and then it ends up being 8 guys.
For real.
But like, and there's certainly a chance that that'll happen too, right? That somebody just isn't ready, or some players are just so good you can't take them off the floor, which means other guys can't play as much, so on and so forth. But I don't think they're opposed to playing fast and playing like a deep rotation, really using the advantage of the legs if they are going to play a deep rotation, and just trying to stomp dudes like this. It depends too on the freshman, obviously, but I also heard that Bryson's just an incredible shooter. Definitely has the potential to be the best shooter on the team. Whether that'll manifest itself, this year, we'll see.
Yep.
But he's a great shooter.
He's the best shooter on the team. Then
either him or Joaquin, one of them two.
Whoa, John Blackwell.
JB, Caleb shot 40% last year, or somewhere around there.
We got a lot of shooting, bro.
If Bryson Howard's a better shooter than John Blackwell, then
that's crazy.
We going 39-1.
Well, he might not be a better scorer, but maybe
you don't need him to be.
It's a
straight line drive.
Ideally, his role would just be like a floor spacer. Because I think Bryce is a little better than a floor spacer, but with this particular team, that just seemed like that might be is the best fit for him or whatever. Or it's easy to have.
I'd say it also feels like the kind of thing potentially where, not unlike Slim, like Slim clearly in high school showed he was more than a floor spacer, but then freshman year, if you're a really good shooter, that's the best way to get on the floor, right? Mm-hmm. Catch and shoot, play D, the simple things. And then, as he continues in his Duke career, we get to see even more of it down the line. I don't know if we're going to get to see like a ton of that this year, but like, again, to Zion's point, I mean, with any of these freshmen, the more they do bring to the table, the better and better it means for Duke, right? Like, if he's more than a 3-and-D off the bench guy this year, then it's problems for everybody else, right? I think the most interesting conversation is going to be Cam, JBB, and sort of the big man rotation in general and how it works. I definitely heard from Cam. I mean, the potential is very clear. He is, again, from what I heard, he's definitely a jump shoot guy. He's a face the basket guy, jump shoot guy. He can pass, he can shoot. He's got, like, for his size, he's got some good stuff going. But like, people look at the height, or maybe they look at what Cam Boozer did last year and think like, oh, well, maybe he could play some minutes at the 5. If
he's
God
more of a
forbid
small
somebody's
forward
hurt or whatever. And I was sort of I was given a bit of a hand wave at that. They were like, nah, that's not really his game, at least offensively.
Not at all.
That's not his game. And he's definitely, slender. He's big, but he's, not exactly like a bruiser inside, defensively necessarily. He's going to be more like that. Again, I know this is a lazy comparison because it comes up a lot, but like Evan Mobley in college, how, weak side, like he's a menace weak side, but Evan wasn't necessarily a guy that in college, if there was some 23-year-old 7-footer who was like, Evan was still just skinny, right? Like freak, great timing, etc. But like, that's not necessarily how you want to use somebody like that right away. And then JBB, who obviously was not there, I had somebody tell me like, 2 things at the same time, where it was like, he's 16, so like, who knows?
No, he's 17 now.
Well, sure. All right, fair enough.
Yesterday, right?
Happy birthday.
All right. Well, when I asked the question, it was 16. All right.
But my man,
oh, come on, give me a break. But either way, the point being, like, with a guy who's so young, even though he's ridiculous, what are we going to get right away?
You never know.
I do think remains to be seen, especially he's not there yet. Maybe when he shows up, everything reveals itself, right? But the other thing that people said in that sort of same breath was this is a guy that, they expect to be a top 3 draft pick in, 2028, right? Like the talent is insane. It's a question of youth, just simple and plain. It's a question of youth. And, how quickly does that top 3 style thing, reveal itself? Is it right away? Is it ACC play? Is it toward end of year? Is it like, where does it come out? So I do think that the 4-man, in terms of who starts, who plays, what role they sort of play in the offense, how ball dominant they are, like how much offense can we expect from them necessarily? I think a lot of these things are very, very up in the air until they've gotten more reps in and they know sort of more, how these guys are gelling with everybody, especially with JBB not on campus yet.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see how both of them adjust. I think, their roles won't have to be, they have to be the star of the team. It's simply, I said this before, it simply may come down to who rebounds and plays defense the best. Like that's maybe just the role we need at that position. Obviously, both of them can shoot, so they'll both stretch the floor. But who wins that battle simply just may come down to rebounding the defense, and whoever does that best may get the most minutes. But they're both great talents. It'll be very interesting to see.
You know what I'm interested in with the mobility, especially with those two specifically, are pick and roll coverages on how we attack pick and rolls early on this year.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see. If we go to more of like a switching style with switching everything, I'm pretty sure like if we like with lineups with Rippey, we won't switch like 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, like because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want Rippey on like 4s and nothing like that. But interesting to see because I believe both of those guys could have the ability to guard out in space. So it's just a matter. They have the tools for it.
I think Cam has more of the tools. JBB, I've noticed that watching his games, sometimes he'll get burned. And I mean, he was 16 at the time.
Brother, this guy's
he was 16 at the time I was watching the games.
I think he was 16 when I asked the question. So, boo you back.
That was something I noticed a couple times. Like he got burned in a couple pick and roll coverages, but that may come with experience, and by maybe February, he may be better at it. But yeah, that was something I was like, okay, I see where there could be like something to nitpick there with his game, but we'll see.
I don't see Duke, man. Maybe this is, and again, this isn't related to scrimmage stuff at all because they're not working on their defensive schemes in these things really. At least from what I saw last year. I don't know that this is a team where I'm expecting a lot of like switch everything lineups. I just, I don't think they want to do that to Pat. I think the Pat is very clearly sort of more of a, rim protect / like do this sort of blitz action, right? Like he's not like the pure, like put him on an island against somebody out there. Or at least rather, I don't think that's how they want it to be all the time. I think that he's probably better suited elsewhere, especially if, like, again, God forbid, we don't want to talk about injuries when we're talking about Pat, but like, are we really going to want to like have him do all that running around out there? Like all the sort of like quick mobility. Like I sort of like rim protection Pat the most. I mean, especially if you pair him with somebody like Cam, where Cam is, cleaning up weak side, like just destroying. Pat's the guy like who's so strong and who can body up inside. I don't know. And then obviously you've got Rippey, who I think is going to have ridiculous motor, but again, you don't want to put him necessarily as a freshman on like a switch with a guy who's like 6'7" who can handle a little, right? Like I like it's not really what you want to see. I think there's probably better ways to use it.
I agree. I just know that the plan is for all of these guys to be prepared for the next level. That's what they wanted, the next level out of their bigs. You know what I mean? Yeah. To be able to, not that I will require you to do it for long stretches, but I need to know in certain possessions, I can trust you to go out on the perimeter and hold your own. stuff like that. Like, so,
I kind of think Pat at the next level is a drop coverage big anyway, right? Like I sort of think that's again most of the time would be where I think he'd be best used. Again, maybe
he would be best, like, because he's a better rim protector than anything. It's just like break class. Like, I need to know that I can trust you to do it for possession. Maybe if we need you to.
I will say he
needs you to do it. But.
I remember the one of his best highlights last season was that LJ Casem one-on-one defense. Like, I mean, obviously he can't do that every time, but
that's what I'm saying.
It'd be better than like Rudy Gobert.
Like, that stuff that scouts will love to see that. Like, okay, no, I don't want you necessarily having to switch out on a Dame Lillard but shot clock breakdown, and we don't want to give up a clean look. Take him for 7 seconds. Can you do that? Can you hold your own for 7 seconds? Something like that. Like,
in a breakdown situation, maybe. Like I don't think they're. Again, this is all conjecture.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to think they don't want to use him that way, or they won't use him consistently that way. JBB, I feel similar just from the tape, the limited tape that I've seen. I'm assuming Zion's seen more than me, but it doesn't strike me in year one like he'd be a guy best utilized there necessarily. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see defensively what this team chooses to do. They're going to have a lot of options.
I'm interested to see what you guys think, because I had a couple of people bring this up to me about specifically with the guards increasing the pressure, particularly full court, because we're so deep and we have the length. And like, for example, what you were saying about Pat, I think that would better suit the Pat skill set in being a rim protector. Like, if we could get guys like Caleb or Caden to increase that pressure, and knowing that you got a good backline defender behind you, and in our case, it would probably be 2 if him and Cam could be on the floor at the same time or something like that. Like, I don't know, just interested to see what you guys think about the guards increasing the pressure, particularly full court, because I heard people bring that up. Like, we should be able to press full court, like with all of this length and athleticism and the depth we have.
It'd be cool. I feel like Duke doesn't do that very much. It'd be really cool. And again, if Duke runs a deeper rotation, I think anything's possible. I do think that the guy who you'd really want to do that with, in my opinion, would be Rippey.
Yeah.
Like Rippey seems to me like a guy who would be best utilized as okay, if somebody gets past him, first of all, it's going to be really hard to get past, just in the sense that he's fast. I feel like having him be a pest, use that speed, use the athleticism, use the fact that you're small. I feel like whenever small defenders have done really well at the next, I'm thinking more the next level than anything else, but like, I think of like Fred VanVleet or something, like just somebody who if it's a taller guy, and he's like underneath where you're trying to play, and he's using that speed and the lack of size, I guess, to an advantage. Because
like the guy I compared him to, Davion Mitchell, for my board.
Sure. Yeah, if it's a pure pull-up jump shot over a guy, then not having height is a disadvantage. But there are ways to leverage your size, to your advantage in certain situations, I think. And I don't know.
I do think we'll see Rippey be the guy that may not be consistent with like a Caden and Caleb and JB, but Rippey's like a guy you insert and okay, bro, 94 feet, get at it, make a play.
Awesome.
Like you're gonna have to change the style you're playing if Rippey's in the game, because number one, him playing slow and half court offense is not gonna help him. Is not gonna help him. He needs to get up the floor. Like, that was something another former player said. Like, him in the open floor, insane. Which we knew already, but like, you're gonna have to play fast and you're gonna have to add ball pressure when he's on the court, because like that's just that you're not gonna negate his biggest strengths if he's on the floor.
Very true. But
I think it's a luxury to have all this talent on this team. I think it's gonna be a fun year. You just a quick correction, Russ, you were right actually. Maxime Meyer did have 6 assists today. Bleacher Report posted a little highlight little highlight. You remember he's 7'1".
I'm telling you, I watched that kid play in person last year. I know everybody think he's going red shirt, which I mean, I guess I can see it, but the kid can play, bro. He has some tools that I was impressed. I'll say that. I was impressed watching him in person.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're asking him to be ranked this season, then I think he's a nice guy to have as your rank. You know, like, and somebody who can, you know, hopefully continue to develop, be a multi-year guy, you know, by upperclassmen, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he's a guy who's going to play over like Pat or Drew this year.
No,
but again, another situation where if somehow he's better, then hey, even better for Duke. But
yeah, I mean, he was a guy that was ranked like 90 something or pretty low.
Yeah.
But I think like Duke believed that he was way better than his ranking. You know, I still expect him to. I mean, I don't even know if a red shirt is going to be a thing by the season, but you know, I still expect him to redshirt. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, you know, Drew and Pat don't have the best injury history. You know,
correct.
They go down, but I mean, we do have 4 big men. So
or if they just don't need, right? Like if it's a game where we're up 20-30, like we're not going to leave Pat in for games like that this year. I struggle to see that happening. In which case, maybe you do need, you know, some minutes. I can see why Duke finds him appealing. I mean, especially anytime you see a big man get 6 assists, like, you know, that's like John's eyes getting like huge, you know, like it's like he loves a big man who can pass the ball, a big man who's got, you know, some skill and size overlap. I mean, like this kid clearly
his mobility is what jumped off the screen to me. Like he's way more mobile than like I was completely shocked because I was not expecting to see him move the way he moved. Hearing the chatter about him before I watched him play, kid can really move, bro. At 7 foot plus, like can really move. Yeah, can really move, man. So I'm just like, it's one of those situations where it's just kind of like Duke is extremely talented, and that's more so why he may possibly red shirt. Not that he's just flat out not good enough, because I'm telling you, watching him in person, I think the kid is good enough to give us like not that like I think he's a starter level type player, but he's definitely like capable of giving us 8 or 9 minutes like this year if we needed him to, like or somewhere around there between 5 or like 8 minutes, somewhere around there. Like if we needed to get those minutes from him, I definitely think
I'm not sold on that necessarily, but if he is that good, then it would be great. I think I know what you're saying by the he can move, but like I think that he can move in the sense that he doesn't look like a baby giraffe out there. You know what I mean? Like I do think he looks like comfortable in his size, if that makes sense. But like I don't think he doesn't strike me as like a switch guy. Like right, he doesn't strike me as like
no. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just talking about like from the ability, like the way he runs the floor. That stood out to me, like him getting out in transition, like because it's just one of those things. Like
he's not clumsy.
No, he's very
that's what
fluid.
I was saying. Yeah,
he's very fluid. Like, and I wasn't expecting him to move as fluid as he did. And also like I mean, the 6 assists, the passing thing kind of stood out a little bit. I don't think he had 6 assists in the game, but I don't know. I was incredibly shocked, and I was like, I think this kid could actually like play this year. I don't expect him to. I'm not saying like I'm expecting him to shock the world, but from watching him in person last year, I fully believe that if we needed 5 to 8 minutes from him, he could give it to us this season. So, you know,
I'm not expecting. I agree with Zion that I'm not sure I expect red shirts to be a thing anymore, and so if they aren't, then it's a moot point anyway. And then throw them in those blowout games, man. There aren't going to be many of those blowout games this year, given the strength of the schedule. But like put them in there, let them run.
What's the blow? I think one of those.
We'll blow out some teams. It'll just be harder to blow out teams. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but no. Do we have anything else from McKay Academy scrimmages? Rippey.
I'll say this too. I think that talking to like former players versus current players, there's very clearly like a generational divide, right? Like there's very clearly like a you're talking to somebody who's 28 versus somebody who's 19, right? Like, I think that should be expected and is normal and everything else. But it struck me last year when I got to talk to Slim some that Slim was very he was very open. Like he was not like somebody who was like, yeah, like, being polite and taking a picture and answering a quick question and then like, okay, I'm going to go back to hanging out with my friends now. Like he was willing to talk. And if you asked him a question, he wouldn't kind of give like a polite 1-sentence answer. He'd go back and forth with you a little bit. And I don't know whether like maybe maturity is the wrong word because that implies that the opposite is immaturity. And I'm not trying to say that, but I do think that there's a degree to which maybe having that comfort in those sorts of exchanges, I don't know, like maybe there's a bit of knowing who you are, or knowing where you fit in the scheme of things. I don't know, just in talking to him last year and then obviously seeing him play, I felt that big season coming. I don't know. And talking to JB some this year, he's also a guy who is very, very open, very willing to give you like multi-sentence, talk about, his experiences and everything else. So again, how that manifests itself in the rotation, whatever, who's to say. Obviously he was a great player last year, but I do feel like he sort of shows that maybe there's a bit of leadership in there, right? Like maybe, obviously we know that Caleb's going to, and Caleb is another guy who's like this, by the way. Like, I think that maybe there's a bit of, more leadership that we might get from JB than, I think people expect Foster. I think people expect, the usual suspects. They normally maybe don't expect the guy who's transferring in to immediately sort of have those qualities for a team. But I don't know. I was impressed with how he carried himself and conducted himself. Yeah. So
I will say
I'm excited.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, that's a good outlook on this team because there are now multiple. I don't know when's the last time we've had this many guys who can be looked at as a leader. Like Pat, this is year 3. You're a leader. Caden, you're a point guard, the second year. Caleb Foster, this is senior. Dame Sar, you were playing big games last year. Obviously, John Blackwell. We have a lot of vets who understand Duke basketball. I think, it's really encouraging to, have that coming into next season because, it's a lot of big time games that they'll be playing in. And, we even saw in, the Quinn, when Quinn was talking on stage, like he was like, we went into Wisconsin and we're like, people got us as the underdog. Like that's the type of confidence and leadership, we need on the team. And I think having so many guys who've played last year will probably reflect the same way. So, definitely very excited. Very, very.
I can see Dame being a real emotional leader too. We saw it in some games last year, especially down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like last year's team was maybe a bit less outside, like Slim notwithstanding. Obviously, maybe a bit less demonstrative on the floor. In a way that people would associate with like the screaming and the flexing and like everything else. But I do kind of I always like that part of Duke. I like when Duke brings that to the table. And Dame, I mean, we saw last year. I mean, when his shots are going and he's locking somebody down, he's clapping his hands, he's screaming, he's I love when guys bring that to the table. So I'm sad I didn't get to see Dame play in any scrimmage or whatever. I didn't get to see him much just because of who else he was on other courts. But man,
did Dame look bigger? Pause. Nolan also said pause on stage too.
I heard it. That was dope.
Yeah,
yeah, he did.
Go ahead.
No comment. I think that I mean maybe, but that's hard to tell. It wasn't like whoa, this dude's put on 25 pounds or whatever, right? But I mean, he's in good shape. Like
okay.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I would guess probably. Like maybe in the sense that like I felt like Slim also looked like he had put on muscle between seasons.
Yeah, Slim looked visibly bigger.
He did, yeah.
This year between this year and last year. Yeah.
But also, we'll have another several months for Dame to put on muscle
That's
between like now and when we'll see him play. So, you know,
Because once
it's hard.
everybody
It's hard
gets
for me to. It's hard for me to be like, is this what I want to have seen? You know, or is it like the truth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll know in November, right? We'll know when he goes out on the floor. We'll be able to like do a side by side and tell the difference. But I mean, there is one thing about Duke, man, is they are working hard in the gym. They are working hard in the gym.
Yeah. Let's get to a couple callers called in. We put out the message late. I mean, I hope y'all don't have much questions anyways, not much to talk about. But Monty, I think Monty, you came to the this is not the Monty that came on the show, but Monty came to the chat. So what's up, Monty?
Hey, I just want to say shout out to y'all, man. It was real cool meeting y'all boys in person. Shout out to Russ, shout out to Jamahal, shout out to Zion. Had the opportunity to stop by and say what's up to all y'all boys, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Monty.
Appreciate you coming out, man. We love the support. You know, hopefully next year it could be we could plan this months in advance, bigger venue, more people. I know Quinn was hinting at, you know, next year maybe we do like Ja or, you know, different players, integrate different players in. So
That'd be dope to make it a yearly thing.
yeah. You know,
cool.
so let's make this a
Yeah,
thing.
Ja was there. Ja is huge, dude. Ja and Zubek are two people who, like, when you see them in person, you're just like, somebody was trying to help Ja up off the ground. Like, I think he had like his buddy there was trying to help him up off the ground. I was like, do we need to bring in reinforcements here? People like, huh?
He was just sitting down.
Ja was sitting on the ground, you know, watching the games, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna go get lunch or whatever. And his friend was like, you know, like,
you need about 5 people to help Shorty up, bro.
dude, he was taller than me while he was sitting down, man. It's crazy. You know, it's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Shout out Big Ja. Next caller is Bearded Blue Devils Zach.
What's up, Crazy Cast? Who do you think takes the biggest leap this coming season from last year's team? I feel like the obvious answer is Pat. You could go Caden. You could go Foster. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's obvious.
Yeah, I don't know if it's obvious.
Me, I think it's gonna be Caden. Like I said, I'm gonna die on this hill if I have to. I'm a firm believer that he will be one of the elite players in college basketball this upcoming season. Like, his name will be mentioned amongst some of the best players in college basketball. I'm standing on it. So just because I said that months ago, I gotta say it's Caden.
Did you see that?
Huh?
Borzello on ESPN didn't even have him in the starting lineup.
I've seen a couple of people that haven't had him in the starting lineup, but you know,
I wanted to talk about it, but I was like, maybe whatever.
I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another answer of like, who knows? I mean, like, this is probably the most who knows outside of like Pat starting at the 5 and Dame starting at the 3. Like
Blackwell.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've seen a publication have Caden Caleb. You know,
I haven't seen none of them. Everybody I've seen has had Blackwell.
Maybe the last time I saw it might have been pre-Blackwell signing. So maybe I take it back. Maybe I take
probably John Rothstein. He doesn't update his for 3 weeks.
Or maybe that's it. Maybe it was just a lack of update.
But everybody I've seen has had at least Blackwell at one of those spots, and it's been mostly Caden. I saw somebody had put Caleb there today, and I think that might have been
that was Borzello.
Yeah. So I mean,
well,
I don't know.
I'll put it this way. I think that with an embarrassment of riches comes somebody who clearly can and or should and or deserves to start is by necessity not going to start. So, you know, it just depends on who you think that is, and I'm sure the summer will it'll probably be a who plays together best thing. Right. And we'll see. To answer the question, I think just in comparison to what we saw last year, we saw what Caden was down the stretch of the year. Like, that's what I expect Caden to be this year. And so even though to maintain that over the course of a season would be different, right? I kind of want to say Dame. I kind of want to go with Dame just because, I don't know what his counting numbers were last year, but I think between counting numbers and like efficiency and just, getting to see a little bit more of the bag that maybe he displayed. I mean, again, this is the Slim conversation that I brought up earlier, right? Like last year, in order to simplify things, Dame, go out there, play defense, make your corner threes. This year they got a whole summer to work together, a whole summer to like have him show off more of what he's got this season. I think he's way more than just a corner three and defense guy. I think he's got more to his game than that. And so I think we'll see that this year in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Zion, so that means you got to go with somebody else then. You got to go with Pat or somebody.
I was going to go Caden, but
Pat's not a bad answer if you think he's going to play a lot of minutes. I mean, I think that if he played enough minutes, he might have a heavier workload and some real nice counting stats. I just don't see that necessarily being something that Duke would do this year.
Yeah, it's hard for Pat this year because we have reinforcement behind him, and we have 4 big men. Not that I don't believe that JBB and Cam will be playing much at the 5 this year, if at all. But the fact you do have a starting caliber like Drew Sarnowski. What I don't care what conference is what it was. He was a first team all conference big. Like he could play in big moments and big minutes. So it's gonna be hard for Pat to just get dramatically better if there's so much talent in that front court playing next to him. But he will. I think he will get better though. He will get better. I just don't think it'll be a massive leap like I think Caden might.
As far as the numbers. If we're talking strictly numbers, I'm expecting Caden to take the biggest leap.
Yeah.
But if we're talking impact, I could 100% Pat taking the biggest leap because, specifically, like what you were saying, like with the bigs, Pat is the only big that could be viewed as especially early on, since we haven't seen everybody together, as the best back to the basket threat. Like we need a bucket, throw the ball to the big fella, get us an easy one type thing, So. Impact that could have a tremendous impact on the team if he develops into that guy that we can consistently give the ball to on the block. Whether we need him to score 15, 16 points, I don't even really think that's necessary, but just for him to become a guy that we could just throw the ball into and it's an automatic 2 points, that could have a huge impact. So,
I will say
he was already our third best player last year. I mean, I think that
I thought second. Who was the second?
Second?
Yeah.
Slim?
You thought Slim was the second best player?
I got Pat
on the team last year.
Yeah, I got Pat. I think Slim turned up when Pat got hurt.
I think Pat was the second most important for sure.
Yeah, to me, second most important.
Maybe that's different. Maybe that's different.
I think Pat was the second most important. For sure.
Okay. I won't dispute that necessarily. He definitely his importance level is huge.
But
Slim also just kicking it up on defense last year too. I mean, he just. Yeah, he was.
But to that point, remember Duke was the number 1 defense last year.
Yeah.
In the country, and obviously Malik Brown too. That's a big loss. But even without Malik Brown, it was mainly because of Pat and Dame, and you still have those guys coming back to kind of be the pillar of your defense. I think
Caleb as well.
Yeah, Caleb. I think people are kind of leaving that out. I think Duke is still going to be a top 5 defense regardless next year. So,
I don't think Duke was the number 1 defense in the country last year.
We didn't end up. We were number 1 for a certain stretch. I don't think we finished.
Well, Michigan was almost certainly number 1.
They finished number 1?
They finished number 1, but I think when Pat got hurt, that's when we fell off.
Yeah, because I remember us being number 1. We had number 1 at some point in time. I don't know how long it was because it fluctuates. It goes up and down.
Let me research not to look crazy. Hold on before.
Well, on Ken Palm, it was Michigan number 1, Arizona number 2, Duke number 3.
I think we fell in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that is.
I remember Ken Palm having us number 1 at some point.
Yeah, I have it. I have it right here. After Michigan.
Yeah, well, that Florida State game,
we were number 1 defense in the country.
Punched us in the balls on defense,
The one talking about the tournament game?
The ACC
Yeah, they
tournament.
tournament game when we gave up 79 and 67 possessions of Florida State of all teams.
Florida State ate our ass up both times we played them too.
Once we lost Pat, our defense kind of
So fair enough. Fair enough. I stand corrected. But yeah.
But no, it'll be a fun defense still next year. Before we get out here, last caller, Ted, you sent this 2 weeks ago, so I don't know what you said, but let's see.
It's also a minute and a half long.
Yeah.
What's up, Crazy Cast? It's your buddy Ted calling for the first time since a tough loss in the tournament. And I think I've been dragging my feet on calling because I got something to confess to you guys. It's really hard, especially for Jamahal, who I know this is going to come with some bad news too. You know, I'm an older fan. You know, I've got college age kids, and you guys might know that May 1st is the date that kids decide where they're going to go to college. And it really pains me to report to you
his
that
kid is going to UNC.
My youngest kid is going to be going
to UNC,
to the University of Connecticut.
Oh.
And I don't live in Connecticut. I live in New York, which means I'm going to be paying out-of-state tuition.
Oh.
Which means that over the next 4 years, I'm going to be going over 200 large to UConn.
The UConn?
Which means that I'm helping fund them, man. Like, some of that money's winding up in NIL.
You're paying Nick Comenia.
Man, I don't know, dude. It's tough.
Man, I'm
It's tough.
sorry
I
to hear
gotta
that,
come
my
clean to you guys. And it ain't gonna be easy. Hopefully, you know, he's not a big basketball fan, which being my son is interesting, but hopefully it won't turn into a house divided. But I just had to tell you guys that I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it. I'm going, you know, my therapist and I, you know, we can forget about mom for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that sucks. You know what? I
Great
feel your
call.
pain. My daughter's talking about going to dental school at UNC. She's about to enter her junior year at ECU right now. She's planning on being a dentist, and she's talking about going to UNC for dental school. And she knows that how against this I am.
Well, I mean, her mom went to UNC, so that's okay.
So gosh, bro. That sucks, man. I'm sorry, bro.
First of all, Ted, great Wedding Crashers reference at the end of your call there. Second of all, if it's any consolation to you, I'm no accountant, but I would be willing to wager that the vast, vast, vast majority of NIL funding for any university is not coming from admissions; it's coming from boosters. You know, so or companies that, you know, want to get, you know, hand in hand with a, you know, whatever, right? But I don't think if your kid is going there that it's going to be you know, funneled directly to
his money helping make the cafeteria look nicer. That's what his money doing.
Yeah, sure.
Her still might indulge in, so, you know, still.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's crazy.
And the last thing that I'll say to you, Ted, which you're not going to want to hear, but it's true. If your kid's going to Connecticut, they're going to like Connecticut basketball, dude. Like,
there's nothing else.
It's too like I was never like a big college football guy until I went to Duke games and I enjoyed them, but Duke was terrible when I was there, so it was hard for me to get super into it other than the fun communal experience. And then I went to Ohio State for grad school, and I was like, you know, like I don't really like college football, but I'll go to like the stuff for rivalry week with Michigan, just sort of like I want to experience it, you know, and it was different. And I was like, oh, I get it now. This is it. This is why, right? And like, and now that's teetered off. But like, you know, while your kid's there at a school that has, you know, basketball history, it's going to be impossible not to get swept up in it. So you're gonna have to just take that on the chin for a few years. But at least your dollars are not going to their NIL fund, more than likely, dude. So, you know, take that as a bit of comfort.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you though, Ted. We
prayers up to you, Ted. I feel your pain, my boy. I feel your pain.
Prayers up.
You know,
we all thought he was going to say UNC. Now that would have been different.
We did think he was going to say UNC, but I mean, it's recent. The recency of the UConn.
No, we don't need to get back into this.
Yeah, no, we're not revisiting this shot.
It's almost worse. So many people came up to me. Like, so many people came up to the K Academy to listen to the show. It was like, and you were right, Russ. You were right. So many
Right
people.
about
Genuinely, this is not a bit. This is not a
me?
bit. A bunch.
About,
no, about the what would you rather have? Would you rather?
No, we won that debate. I don't care.
Nah.
It was a landslide. It was a landslide.
A real landslide. Like,
Twitter was like, it was a landslide. Like
not on Duke University campus this past week. It wasn't. I'll tell you that.
all of them would rather beat the Heels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who listen to the show who go to K Academy too. So shout out to all of them. I expect y'all to call in this year.
If you're going to K Academy, man, throw some funds, throw the Crazy Cast, man.
Hey,
throw dollars here, man. We need some money.
We could. You want a sponsor? We need some sponsors. You got some. I don't want to call out specific businesses that I know have their owners at K Academy. But hey, if you've got a business.
There's an ad spot right in the corner over here, and over here for you, right there, man.
We'll play you a jingle. We'll do.
Rush, that means you got to sing the jingle then.
I'll sing the jingle. Who cares? I'll sing a jingle.
You got to be the top dog law guy for the Crazy Cast.
We appreciate y'all and everyone who tunes in. One quick reminder, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are continuously trying to build that up. As you can see, we got a lot of content, different content, non-podcast content on there as well. So tap in with us, tap in with the Crazy Cast. We appreciate y'all. I don't know when we'll be back because I don't think there's going to be any news anytime soon.
Probably when somebody leaks some footage of them scrimmaging.
Yeah. The first practice. The first
practices.
That's what I'm saying. Because that's about to start in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. So maybe we'll be back. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. We also are doing something big in July in Cameron. Soon to be announced, though. We'll give y'all details. But appreciate y'all. We love y'all. It was a great week, and it's a great start to June for us. So appreciate the support. Go Duke. DDMF.